September 11th, 2001. It was an ordinary Tuesday morning in the United States. For millions of Americans, the day began just like any other day. Alarm clocks rang in homes across the country. Parents prepared breakfast for their children before sending them off to school. Office workers hurried through their morning routines, grabbing coffee and rushing to catch trains, buses, and taxis. No one imagined that this seemingly normal morning would soon become one of the most tragic and unforgettable days in modern history. Across the country, airports were busy as usual. Flights were taking off one after another, carrying passengers traveling for business, family visits, and vacations. In cities like New York, Washington, D.C., and Boston, the rhythm of everyday life continued without any hint of the disaster that was about to unfold. In New York City, the weather was unusually perfect. The sky was bright blue, the air was clear, and the morning sunlight reflected beautifully off the glass buildings of Manhattan. Standing proudly above the city skyline were the twin towers of the World Trade Center. The towers were among the tallest buildings in the world, each standing 110 stories high. Every day, nearly 50,000 people worked inside them, while thousands more visited the observation decks, restaurants, and offices. For many New Yorkers, the towers were more than just buildings. They were symbols of American strength, ambition, and economic power. Inside the towers that morning, thousands of workers had already started their day. Some were checking emails, others were attending meetings. Coffee cups sat on desks while office conversations filled the air. No one inside the towers knew that in just a few minutes, their lives, and the lives of millions of others, would change forever. The first attack at 8:46 a.m., everything changed. American Airlines Flight 11, which had taken off from Boston and was heading to Los Angeles, suddenly crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. The plane struck between the 93rd and 99th floors, instantly causing a massive explosion. The impact was devastating. Jet fuel ignited immediately, creating huge fireballs that burst out from the sides of the building. Thick black smoke began pouring into the sky. Glass, metal, and debris rained down onto the streets below. People walking in Manhattan suddenly stopped and looked up in shock. No one could believe what they were seeing. Inside the tower, hundreds of people were instantly killed. Many others were trapped on the upper floors above the impact zone with no way to escape. Fire alarms rang throughout the building. Smoke began filling the stairwells. Office workers rushed toward exits, confused and terrified. Outside on the streets, people gathered and stared at the burning skyscraper. At first, many believed it was a tragic accident. Perhaps a small aircraft had lost control. Television networks quickly interrupted their regular programming to broadcast live images of the burning tower. But no one yet realized the true scale of what was happening. The second plane. Just 17 minutes later, the world witnessed something that removed all doubt. At 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 appeared in the New York sky. The aircraft was flying extremely low and dangerously fast. Millions of viewers were already watching live television coverage of the burning North Tower. Suddenly, the plane turned and slammed directly into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. The impact created another enormous explosion. Flames burst from the building as debris flew through the air. This moment was captured live on television and instantly broadcast around the world. It became clear immediately that this was not an accident. America was under attack. Panic spread across New York City. Police officers began closing roads. Firefighters rushed toward the burning towers. Ambulances screamed through the streets with sirens blaring. Inside both towers, thousands of people were now trapped. Smoke filled the hallways. Fire spread rapidly through the upper floors. Many workers desperately tried to escape down crowded staircases. Others were trapped above the impact zones with no way out. Firefighters, police officers, and emergency responders ran into the buildings, climbing dozens of floors while carrying heavy equipment. They knew the danger, but they also knew people needed help. Chaos in Manhattan. Outside, the situation became chaotic. Thousands of people flooded the streets of Manhattan trying to escape the area. Some were covered in dust and debris. Others were injured. Many simply ran without knowing where to go. Sirens echoed everywhere. Helicopters circled above the towers as thick black smoke continued to pour into the sky. Television cameras captured scenes that shocked the entire world. People trapped on the upper floors waved cloths and jackets from broken windows, hoping someone would see them. Some were forced to make impossible choices. Meanwhile, firefighters and emergency responders rushed into the burning towers, climbing higher to save those trapped inside. Many of them would never return. The Pentagon attack. While New York struggled with the disaster, another attack happened. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Defense. The impact caused a huge explosion and fires that destroyed parts of the building and trapped many workers. It was now clear that this was a coordinated terrorist attack against the United States. Airports across the country immediately shut down, and for the first time in history, all U.S. airspace was closed. Collapse of the towers. Back in New York, fires continued to weaken the towers. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapsed in less than 10 seconds, sending a massive cloud of dust and debris through Manhattan. People ran for their lives as the sky turned gray with ash. Then at 10:28 a.m., the North Tower also collapsed, permanently changing the New York skyline. Flight 93. Another hijacked plane? United Airlines Flight 93 was heading toward Washington, D.C., but the passengers learned about the earlier attacks through phone calls. Realizing the danger, they bravely fought the hijackers. The plane eventually crashed into a field in Pennsylvania at 10:03 a.m. All 44 people on board died, but their actions likely prevented another major attack. The aftermath. By the end of the day, nearly 3,000 people were killed and thousands were injured. The attacks became one of the deadliest terrorist events in modern history. Rescue teams worked for weeks at the ruins of the World Trade Center, known as Ground Zero, searching for survivors. Across the country, people mourned the victims and honored the hero. A world changed forever. The events of September 11th, 2001 changed the world. Airport security was redesigned, and the United States launched the war on terror. Yet even in tragedy, the world witnessed incredible bravery. Firefighters, police officers, ordinary citizens, and the passengers of Flight 93 who sacrificed their lives to protect others. Today, the 9/11 Memorial and Museum stands where the Twin Towers once stood, honoring the victims and heroes of that day. September 11th will always be remembered as a day of loss, courage, and resilience, the day that changed America and the world forever.